buddy.
It's a little bit better.
I should have put on my mask before I went. I think we're live, man.
Says so.
Cool, dude. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loose Leaf, a storytelling show. I am your host, Wu Manchu. And you must be wondering, how did you become Wu Manchu? Well, light me up 6, okay? Thank you. I forgot to tell Andre the rules. All the storytellers gets 5 to 7 minutes. We'll light you at 6 minutes if we need to. You can wrap it up before then if you want. It doesn't really matter if you reach the 5 or 7 minutes. Just tell a story, a true story, like the show This Is Not Happening or The Moth, or we're just inspired by those. They used to run a storytelling show called Confessions of the Corazon. Anywho, that's the storytelling stuff, where we get our inspiration from. Gotta pay praise to those folks. But how did I become Wu Manchu, you ask? Thanks for asking. It all started at I was the apprentice to Clive Barker from Hellraiser, Candyman. That's why it's on the background there. And the last week of my summer internship, back in 2009, I went to the Red Man, Method Man, Ghostface Killer show at the House of Blues onto the Sunset Strip. And I was dressed up as all my Method Man shirt was faded, long sleeve, and I was the first one in line. And the people thought I was working for the Wu-Tang Clan because I was all Wu-Tanged out. And the House of Blues, or the Wu-Tang Clan thought I was working for the House of Blues. They got mixed up. It was fantastic. And then I see the RZA walk down the ramp. He goes, "What's good, kid?" I'm like, "Holy crap, it's the RZA." Then Ghostface Killer walks down the ramp. I'm like, "Holy crap, that's Ghostface Killer." And that's why this mask is an homage to Ghostface Killer. So I was waiting in line for the show to start, and they had 2 shows. One was a late show, one was an early show. And I only paid to see the early show because I lived in Palmdale at the time with my uncle. And it was like an hour and a half drive without traffic in LA, and that's just nuts. Imagine it with traffic. So I go to the first show, and I go to the merch table, and the merchmen were like, "Hey, we haven't sold that shirt in a very long time." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, it's faded. It got holes on the elbows. They misspelled the Albuquerque on the back." And they go, I go, "I want to buy everything that's on your table." It's like, "Cool, man." He goes, and then I go and I'm like the first one to the very front of the stage, like the barricade area, like barricade. And Method Man is like awesome live. Like he just like stage dives and crowd surfs with the Red Man. They're crazy like that. I've never seen anything like that. And the whole place smelled like weed. It was like, I don't smoke, but it smelled really nice. It smelled really nice. And then I go back to the merch table again. And I buy some more stuff from my best friend. And they go, "Hey, you bought a lot of stuff. Do you want to stay for the second show?" I'm like, "I wish I could, but I can't afford a ticket." They're like, "No problem. We'll give you a VIP bracelet. You can come in when the rest of the people come in." I'm like, "This is so awesome. I can't believe this is happening." So, as promised, the merchman came out, gave me my VIP bracelet. We talked about how New York people are and everything like that. And so I guess what happened after that, I walked in to the very top because I was a VIP and I was like showing off my bracelet like I was like Wayne or Garth and Wayne's World, and I'm just about to meet Alice Cooper, right? And so I go up to the balcony and a comedian, a world famous comedian, shows up right next to me. And it was none other than Cat Williams. And he was throwing out money. Don't worry about my cape; it's worn out. I just got back from Orlando, so I just flew in. So Cat Williams shows up. He throws money off the balcony. He's moving side to side with a grimy look on his face. He pours Dom Perignon. He hands it to me. I say, "No, thank you. I don't drink." And the show wraps up, and I'm like, "This is crazy." I meet my buddy. His name is Big Stat. He's a rapper out of Connecticut, and his Redman hosted his mixtape, and it was like the coolest thing ever for that to happen because he's an independent rapper. Anywho, I go outside. I thank the merch man one more time. Say thanks for this cool experience. I wait for my car at the valet parking area, and this guy goes, "Hey, cool shirt. That's an old shirt. Um, you're not. You sound like you're not from around here." And I'm like, "Nope, I'm from Colorado." And he goes, "What are you doing out here?" And I'm like, "I'm just apprenticing for Clive Barker." He goes, "We should link up. I'm a jazz artist. I'm Marmel." I'm like, "No way." And so we kept in touch over the weekend. I didn't believe him because LA smoke and mirrors. And I hear Riz's voice in the background when he called me when I was at Barnes& Noble doing research for Clive. And so what happened was I'll fast forward because I'm not sure if I have a lot of time left. Okay, cool. So I'll wrap it up. I brought Riz up to Clive's studio. I was hoping they would meet. They didn't meet. I was bummed. I ended up hanging out with the RZA for 3 hours. It was the coolest thing ever. I showed him that Clive had Wu-Tang comic books, and we took a tour of the studio. And I met half of the Wu-Tang clan out there. I met Raekwon, Ghostface, Capadonna, Inspector Deck. I met You Got out here in Massachusetts out St. Augustine. I met Young Dirty Bastard and his old Dirty Bastard's mom out here in St. Augustine too. And I asked, I had some friends back then, and I asked them, "Hey, what should I be for Halloween?" And they're like, "You should be Wu Man." I'm like, "Wu Man sounds too much like a woman. Why don't I be like Wu Man Chu?" And they're like, "That works." So my very first concert experience as Wu Man Chu was seeing Danny Terry playing his jazz band at the Baked Potato at Studio City. And it was like the coolest thing to see Danny Terry that close playing drums in a jazz band. And then like 2 days later on Halloween night, I dressed up like this, took Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw remake. We went to the Danzig Legacy concert with Danzig, Sam Hain, and the Misfits. And we were partying backstage with Puddle of Mud, Typo Negative, the Jackass guys. It was insane. And I'm going to end on that one. So that's how Wu Manchu was born. And without further ado, the next comic that's telling a story this evening, I'm bringing up Andre Dolan.
I love that Sareth is connected to all these celebrities that are known for getting fucked up. And he's like, "No, thank you. No, thank you. Just porn for me, thanks." I love it, man. I love it. Comedy's been really fucking weird. I wouldn't want to think about my life without it because I don't really see one. I could just, if I only made sandwiches. That's terrifying. I've gotten a lot of good out of what I do. I've met Kevin, love of my life. Yeah, we're bathe in that for a second. I've also met my girlfriend, who, although is not Kevin, still pretty. She's great, For someone who's not Kevin, she's the best not Kevin. You know what I mean? It's pretty rad. I started comedy. I like to say that like nobody has ever looked at one of us that do open mics or features. Nobody has ever been like, "You have to do comedy. You just, please God, the world needs it from you." Like we get to do this. You know what I mean? But like I remember when I started, I would go to work, go home, work, home. Didn't have friends. Didn't go out because of lack of friends. I had a cat. That poor fucking cat. But I had somehow, some way at the time I had a girlfriend. And we saw differently as to what the relationship was, and she broke it off. And I remember she said to me, "You're just kind of a loser. You don't really do anything except work." Yeah. Like, but also like, fuck you, you live with your parents, you fucking leech. all I do is work, but my bills are paid. I thought I was doing right. You know what I mean? So like it was right after that where I was like, oh yeah, you bitch. I'm a loser. I'm not doing anything. I don't do anything with my life. Guess who's gonna be a fucking open mic comedian? Yeah, yeah. So I went to Facebook and I've literally just typed in Orlando stand-up comedy, and it brought me to the dumpster fire that is the Orlando Comedy Facebook page. At the time, it was before whatever it is right now. This is pre-Gretchen Bozzer times. So, like that's how long ago. Yeah, baby. But like that's how long. But like so like I started out of it and it was great. But like what's really got me, I've found that like every time I've tried to like bask in it, like, oh, I might be getting a little bit of a following. It bites me in the ass. The goal, I have to keep the goal of doing this just to do it. You know, everything that comes from comedy is just sprinkles on the sundae. You just got to do it. Because I was at work one time, dude walks in, he's looking at me, that look that people give you, like, do I know this guy? Like, I was like, oh, I recognize that. And he says, hey, man, I think I recognize you. I got excited. I was like, you know what? Could be from comedy. You're putting yourself out there. You know, you're advertising shit. You know, you're getting a following. Maybe this is a sign you're on the right track. It might just be one dude in Daytona, but hey, that's pretty bitchin'. So I bite. I'm like, yeah, you know, think you know me? Where do you think you know me from? The knob?
You hate my car.
No, he looks at me and goes like, yeah, you know, I do recognize you. You're that dude that comes in the Popeyes I work at. Aren't you the one that likes all those biscuits? I do. I get extra biscuits so I can make extra sandwiches with my chicken strips, and then I use fuck. And then this is at Kevin's old show at Uncle Waldo's. Rest in peace. I just did a set, and toward the end there, they were weird shows, but they were fucking monster parties. And I always had just this crazy, like, I think one time I was doing a set there, and like I took a dude's hat off of his head and screamed in his face. Had to have been something about like Jeffrey Dahmer or something. I don't know, but it was weird. Is the point, you know? But it was a great time, great response and everything. So I get off with my set, and I'm feeling good. Yeah. You know, like. Fucking bring it, life. And this woman walks up to me, and she actually was a customer of mine that I promoted the show to her. She came out with her husband. She just sees me do a set, walks up to me, and says that she just appreciates my work so much. She appreciates my dedication. She sees my integrity to what I do. No. It hurts to even talk about it. That she looks at me and says that I make a sandwich like nobody ever has for her. Like, and it's just going on. Then it hits me that she's just talking about fucking sandwiches the entire time. She sees the twinkle. Like, how could you not see the twinkle in my eye just fade to death? Like right before, as I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, don't you want to like say you like one joke? One joke. Like, you just watched it. We connected eyes. Like, this is the first time we've ever talked as a person. And then you're just like, hey, yeah, that shit, your dream, whatever. Whatever. But, dude, fucking oil and vinegar ratio on your sandwiches and you make them are fucking good. Comedy might not work out, but you're going to get your own franchise if you keep it up. That's, I just love comedy because I love it. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette. Sareth, baby, that's my time.
Sareth had to fight crime in Jacksonville, so he's not here. So Wu Manchu is here. So we'll keep the storytelling rolling. Coming up to the stage next is my buddy, a third of the punt connoisseurs, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Patrick Murphy.
Thank you,
throat. Ew.
Are we doing jokes or are we fucking telling stories? What am I doing?
Start.
A story about? Story about anything? Alright, dude. This is a story about how my fucking uncle became my husband.
Yeah.
No, those. We're doing real stories? What are they about? I'll fucking tell you guys a fucked up story, bro. This shit looks fucked up, dude. This is like, you guys remember Rotten.com? Tub Girl?
God damn it.
Hell yeah, bro. I've never seen an Asian bitch shit on her face and been so fucking hard as a 7-year-old. And I fucking had the real internet, dude. I fucking. Alright, we're not doing bits. What's the subject? Story.
The start of your comedy journey and then to now.
Comedy journey, bro. Alright, so I was always funnier than all these fucking fat pieces of shit. Nah. I think I don't even know how I thought I was funny, bro. I thought I was gay for a while. I listened to Macklemore. You guys remember that? He thought he was gay, so I thought I was gay. If you think another dude's gay and then you think you're gay, you're definitely gay. I'm thinking another dude's gay. Right? Alright, fucking first story of comedy, dude. This is what I did. I used to hang out at Robbie's. I'm a fucking alcoholic and I got student loans. And I was hanging out with Marty for a while, right? You guys know Marty Levy?
Yep.
Big fan of the N-word. I see the N-word all the time, dude. We're doing these fiction or true stories?
True story.
All right, true story. So Marty got his crazy N-word joke, right?
God damn it. What are you doing?
And I was like, hey, Marty, man, you seem distressed. Seems like a lot of your problems are coming from inside. And he goes, don't tell me it's coming from N-word. This is a true story, dude. Fucking, I watched Marty fight 4 brothers. Looks like Sareth, dude.
Oh man.
All right. I'm not even fucking. So this first story starts out with a push. Up, you might ask? No, down. I was pushed down, dude. I asked my dad, I go, hey, what do you think I'm funny? And he goes, I think you're fucking gay. No one thought you were funny, dude. And he died. And when he died, I started being like, saying necromancy. And I didn't pronounce it like that. I don't know if you guys ever Googled necromancy, but you place the C with a G, dude. And results are results. I don't know, Sir, do you want to talk about comedy? Like, hey, when do you think you're being funny? And I'm like, never, dude. If I thought it was funny, I wouldn't do this every goddamn night. I just feel like shitty every night. We're like, I think I'm, if I knew I was funny, I wouldn't do things to prove that I think that I'm funny. Yeah. I love you in yellow and black, dude. You're just gonna fucking, like, stop Asian hate gangbang. You're like, dude, fucking, out of nowhere, black dudes stop punching fucking Asians. That's the craziest thing to me. Fuck, I'm just going into bits. This is horrible. So I'm doing bits. We doing comedy now?
No, not yet.
All right, so how this story starts is I thought I was gay, but I was saved. Dude, Kevin, you part in your hair? Part your hair in the middle? Are you fucking gay, dude? Fucking part your hair in the middle like a puss. What are you doing, dude? You look. All right, I can only do stand-up comedy. I can't tell you the story about how I got here. I got here because I live up the road. They're like, dude, why'd you start stand-up comedy? You're like, I don't know. I deliver pizza at Domino's and I hang out with fucking Jack Napier, aka Sean Bartolone, for 10 years and fucking Marty Levy. And they're like, hey, fucking that crazy inward joke that Marty loved and would always repeat around his brethren. You should tell that live. And I was like, y'all setting me up, dude. But I will write a meme and let Jack tell it. This isn't all right. Y'all ready for some stories? Y'all like stories? Hell, dude, you see a store and you're like, I want more of that. And you see two, that's stories, right? Fucking that's stories, dude. You see stories on top of stories? You're like, how many stories is it? You're like, that's 2 stories. You're like, dude, my grandpa has no legs. I'm just kidding. I'm just defining stories. All right. Love you guys. You guys ready for it? Dude, when Wu Manchu said he was coming up here, dude, I was like, damn, this is a bitch sneezing. This is a woman going, achoo. Yeah, like, dude, bitch, close your mouth. I'm just kidding. All right. Woo, man. Shut up, Leslie. Choo.
It's all right. And for everyone watching at home, this isn't water-based lube, and my wife had brought from home. It's hand sanitizer and Clorox wipes in case you want to use them. Because COVID, right? All right, folks. Coming up to the stage next is my buddy all the way from Orlando. He's fantastic. Give it up for Spunky Robinson.
All right. All right. Y'all give it up for Surreal. Looking like a sexy ass Jason Voorhees. I'm not gonna be up here that long. I'm just so it's supposed to be a story about comedy, some shit like that, right? All right. So I got started comedy a different way. It was weird. I was homeless at the time when I started doing comedy. So I always liked comedy. I always watched comedy, right? And so I used to catch the bus. I used to pay 65 cents to catch the bus down to this comedy show down in Miami. And they used to have every Thursday night there was a comedy show. So I used to catch the bus down there. And I used to lie and tell the security guards at the door that I was a comedian because I knew I found that comedians getting the shows free. So I was like, all right, cool. Every week, like for like 2 months, I used to tell them I was a comedian. And every week they would ask me why I never go on stage. And I'll be like, yeah, I've been the guy, but he just didn't put me on stage, whatever. So this one particular time, a comedian didn't show up. So they was like, man, put a little young dude on stage. So they ended up throwing me on stage. I didn't know what to say. So I just got on stage and started talking about me being homeless and going through a bad divorce and me not being able to take care of my kids and shit like that. People was laughing and shit. And I kind of, so that was kind of the start of it. And then I went back the next week and I seen a comedian that, I'm not going to mention his name because that's not what I do. But it was a comedian that I've been watching, like Def Comedy Jam, Comic View. Like he was doing this shit. And he was in there, he was bombing like shit. Like I'm talking about, it was terrible. And so I asked the host, I was like, hey man, how much you getting paid for this? He was like $1,500. I'm like, shit, I can do this for $1,500. I can ball like this for $1,500. I swear to God I can. And He was like, "You think you can?" I'm like, "Nigga, I can bomb like this for 1500. If you gonna pay me $1,500, man, I can do this." And he threw me on stage again, and I bombed, but I didn't get paid $1,500. That was the fucking problem. I didn't get paid that night, but it was basically the start of whatever I'm doing now. I've been doing it for almost 12 years. I've been doing a lot of shit. A lot of traveling. I don't know how many comedians in here that's really aspiring to do this, but it's a lifestyle. It's something different. Like I done slept in airports and Greyhound stations next to homeless people and crackheads, all type of shit. But I'm sorry my story not interesting like the last dude. I'm not gonna do no push up and fucking yeah. I ain't gonna do no push up and I'm not. My story not really that interesting like that. But yeah, it's a lifestyle, man. And you just gotta live it. Like it's one of the things that you gotta live. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like my average day, I go to bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm watching comedy, some type of comedy, whether it's open mic. I just YouTube an open mic and just watch a whole bunch of open micers, or I'll be watching somebody special every single night of my life. This is what I do. I live it, and it's one of the things that you just gotta do. Because if you don't, then you're never gonna be that person that you really want to be in this game. Because there's 100,000 people trying to do what we do, right? It's 100,000, 200,000 comedians in the world. So what's gonna make you so special to where people will want to come see you and support you? You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people like when you like if you want people to support you, you got to give them something to support. Which means when we not on stage, we're really on stage because we have social media. Social media is your stage when you're not on stage. You have to eat social media up every single day. You might get on stage once next week, but you got a phone in your hand and you need to be talking to the people. And hey man, that nigga in the back make me nervous as shit. He keep moving. Nigga, you on cocaine? What the fuck?
He's a comic. He's a
I
comic.
know he's a comic. What this nigga keep moving? He make me nervous as shit. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, sir. That nigga, he on cocaine back then. No, I'm saying. But but yeah, it's one of the things that you just gotta live. You know what I'm saying? And have fun and enjoy the journey. Like everybody wants to be here. Like everybody wants to make $1 million doing comedy, but nobody realizes that $100,000 telling jokes for a living is not a bad fucking living. Like I made 75,000 in 2019. You know what I'm saying? I don't live bad. Like you know what I'm saying? So like it just depends what like who you want to be and what you want to be. And if you make it to that point, God bless you. But if you don't, know you're doing something that you love, because I think that like Leslie, like she does a lot of shit, but she does the shit that she loves. That makes her happy. You know what I'm saying? And you the same way, Sarah. Like when when you're doing the shit that makes you happy, that's what life is really about. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't clocked in a job in 9 years. I don't have to answer to nobody. I travel for a living. Like I thank God every day because my life is fucking great. Like what I got to complain about? I ain't got to answer to nobody. I'm fun. Like shit is good in my life. You know what I'm saying? Every day is not a great day, but at the end of the day, I don't have to answer to nobody. I could be in Hawaii tomorrow, and 2 days later I could be in LA. Then the next day I could be in New York. Then the next day I could be in Miami. And I think that's what life is really about, just living on your own dime, like living how you want to live. Even if it's a struggle. Even if it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like this is dope as shit. Like this guy, and y'all gotta clap it up for Surrey. Matter of fact, I need everybody to clap it up. Everybody in this bitch. At the bar, y'all drunk ass. Clap it up. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he stepped out on faith and did his own festival and didn't know how it was gonna turn out. He just believed in what it was. And you gotta do that sometimes. You just gotta fucking believe in yourself. And the people that mess with you, they gonna mess with you. And the people that don't, it's not. They not. And at the end of the day, you just be your best version of you, and they'll catch on sooner or later. But you always remember the people like this. You know what I'm saying? All these people who came out, you know what I'm saying? When it wasn't that many people in the building, you gotta remember these people. So when this festival, a year or two or three from now, when this festival got standing room only and can't nobody else fit in here, you gotta remember those people. You gotta pay those people what they really worth. Cause they was here, you know what I'm saying, when it was, when you was building. You know what I'm saying? And so I respect you, brother. I love you, man. I always talk good about you anytime somebody bring your name up, man. Leslie Joe, man, keep hustling. A lot of y'all other comedians, I don't know y'all. I want to meet y'all. My guy back here. What? I forgot your name, brother. Say it again. Harry. Yeah, that's a good name for your ass. Harry, yeah. Harry, I worked with him last night, man. Dope ass dude, man. He got a good spirit, man. Dope ass dude. And just keep going. That's my motto in life, man. Just fucking keep going and just never give up on what's important to you. Because at the end of the day, everybody in here gonna die. So you'd rather die doing what the fuck you want to do than doing what somebody else making you do. You understand? I'm Smokey Robinson, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm sorry, I just took the whole room down. This is bullshit. I'm sorry. Drinks for everybody, just not on me. Drinks for everybody. I appreciate y'all.
All righty, folks. Give it up for Spunky Robinson one more time, ladies and gentlemen. That was amazing. Next, coming up all the way from Gainesville, Florida, my buddy, Harry Snover.
All right, this is by far the first time I've ever sat down on stage, so here we go. I guess a story, how I get into this. The first time, I guess I started trying to be a comedian in 2017. But the first time I was on stage was, I guess, 2009. I had a girlfriend who had a roommate that thought I was funny, and she tried to push me into doing stand-up comedy. So I went to a show. It was an up-and-comer show. I did 2 Thursday nights in a row and then got entered into a newbies competition. And the only problem was I won the competition, but during that, it was 2009, so Michael Jackson had just died, like that week. And I put a Michael Jackson joke in my act during the competition, and it crushed. So I was like, perfect. After I won, I stacked my next set of jokes full of Michael Jackson jokes because my winning was I got to open for these guys for the weekend. So I did 5 minutes of Michael Jackson material, never got one laugh, got threatened to get beat up twice while I was on stage. And there was only 6 people in the audience, so you heard them threatening to beat me up. And I have not shrank in size. I was always this size. So I get off stage. I realized that it was awful. It was just the worst situation I'd ever done. And I literally didn't go on stage for 8 years or so after that. And then one day a buddy just reached out and said he was headlining a show. I should come and do a guest spot. I did about 20 minutes. And it went okay. But it was better than the Michael Jackson beat up story. And man, this is going to end up being so much shorter of a story than I expected it to be. But I didn't get beat up ever on stage, but I ended up doing okay that time. And I ended up meeting this guy who had some real TV credentials and all. And I did a guest spot. He thought I was funny. It got me back into comedy. And I feel like there were a million different times where I just ate so much crap on stage that I could have just quit forever. And I feel like if you want to take any advice from me, is just don't stop doing something because you struggled or somebody else says you can't do it. Like you can eat a whole bunch of garbage at any career, any job, and this one is just more people. I feel like are judgmental when you're trying to entertain people. So just don't stop what you're doing because yeah, I mean, after all the horrible situations I've been through and getting threatened to get beat up, never did. And I've made more people laugh at this point, I think, than I've made more people angered. And that has to be a good thing, and that's including family. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still going. I'm here doing this show, and well, I don't see the guy who's supposed to come and take the microphone from me. So I'm just gonna keep walking around until I see that insanely gangster of a person, human. And he just turned around and left. But yeah, no, it's awesome. I love comedy. You should. I suggest anybody try it. No matter how many people say comedy is not for certain people, and I feel like even people that couldn't do it should give it a shot to feel how fun it is. Like just it. It's like you're in charge. As long as you got this microphone, you feel like a leader. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening to whatever that story might have been considered. And have a great night, you guys. Thank you.
Give it up for Harry Snowbird one more time, ladies and gentlemen. So Kevin's gonna do a real short story wherever he is. All right, all the way from Daytona Beaches, Kevin Tibbert.
Even with the shirt. Well, it's because I'm on camera and I can't have my corporate overlords represented in anything I do. Yeah. This is. I can't sit. That's where the beers go.
So like I always kind of did comedy when I was younger. I did like little things in the talent shows and stuff. But my first time doing stand up, so I'm actually doing my 5-year anniversary is actually in like a week or two. But I actually did it when I was freshly 21. I did a few shows at a place called Tropizano's Comedy Show, Comedy Zone, Comedy Club. I don't know what it was. It was in Dunlawton and Novo. And I did a couple shows. And my third show, I bombed so horribly. I was like, I'm never doing this shit again. Never again. I didn't do another show for 5 years. It was a 5-year anniversary party for my store that I was working at the time, which I cannot name. That's actually a thing, by the way. My district manager does not like me staying where I work. But they think I do in comedy. And the style of comedy I do, I don't blame them. But it was a 5-year anniversary thing, and me and my buddy who was the bartender there were just getting loaded, right? And he just got his degree through Full Sail. He was going on to do what he loved to do, and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm really missing something in my life. Like at the time, I was like just getting way too into like debating religion and shooting darts. Like that's all I did with my time. We go to the place. It was Bel Air Lanes, and at this point, I am blacked out entirely. I have no recollection of anything that happened when I got there. But our prep cook was named Alec Luby. So it was coded as Patrick Luby. So my prep cook and my buddy Aaron convinced Patrick to put me up. And I go on stage. Apparently it went kind of well. I woke up to a message from him the next day like, hey, Kevin, you did a really good job on stage last night. You should come back. And my response was, what the fuck did I do on stage last night? I had no idea. So then I'm going back to Bel Air Lanes the next week. And that's when I hear the winter storm for the first time. I walk in and I see this weird little Asian dude talking about shooting cum out of your ass onto somebody. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, comedy's great. This is the best shit I ever decided to do. So immediately I was in love with it. The bowling alley was really rough to do comedy at. And I was doing it for a while, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. I was just kind of like just getting way too hammered and going up on stage and just vomiting words into people. That was pretty much my entire first year of comedy. I really didn't start taking it seriously until me and Andre linked up. And it's funny how that went. So like the whole hospital story I do. So I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. And while I was in there, I was reading a Facebook post. It was like, you guys should really check out this new up-and-coming comic. He's like the hottest young talent come out of Daytona. You really need to check out his stuff. And I'm like, oh, they're talking about me. That's awesome. Like, you need to check out Andre Dolan. I'm like, who the fuck is Andre Dolan? Like, who is this motherfucker? So I go to it was the Hurricane Vegas comedy tour, and it was like the days he qualified to be in the actual competition. So me and him performed. That's when I first met him, and immediately, like love at first sight, it's real. Definitely. Because immediately I was like, "Fuck this guy Andre," and like 30 seconds at a time, I'm like, "This is love of my life." And so we started doing around. So when I got out of the hospital, I did what I called the Back from the Dead tour. And 2 months, like I just got booked like crazy because I started heating up. I started taking it seriously, and we didn't have a name for ourselves. So we go to open mics in Melbourne. Mike, like the name, for those who don't know, is one of the best fucking like independent comedy venues you could possibly be around. I loved open mics. It was a great place. So we go up there, and at this time, Andre was very aggressive and loud and yelling at people. And I decided I wanted to have necrophilia to be the cornerstone of my comedy. So I had like 2 or 3 necrophilia jokes for every bit that I would do. So as we're going in there, Andre's like, "We should call each other the Pun Connoisseurs." I'm like, "That's great." But internally, I'm like, "That's the dumbest fucking name anyone's ever said to me. I'm not going to be a pun connoisseur. That's retarded. That's the dumbest thing." I know. So we go up there. So after me and Andre I'm talking, we mortified this group of people. And the host says, "I see one of these 2 guys riding together. Andre will fucking kill you, and Kevin will have sex with your corpse." And then, then we became the Pun Connoisseurs, man. And we added Sean to the mix. Very briefly, had another comic. Zoom was a Pun Connoisseur for 1 month. That is part of the history there. So he's the only one in the alum section. So, yeah, so that's really how the Pun Connoisseurs started. And then we just tied around. I remember that was like one of the big things, too, is like, it was cool seeing my own name, like featuring or headlining someplace. Like, it was cool to see my name, like, on flyers and stuff like that. Like, early comic, like, that was so cool. It was so awesome. Like, personal wins for me is when we were booked as a tandem. Like, I remember the first time, I believe it was Wine Bar in Jacksonville, where it said, and featuring the Pun Connoisseurs. And I was just like, hell yes, this is awesome. It stuck. The name stuck. That's it, man. That's pretty much what comedy. Now me and Andre run the Nog together, and it's just basically us being really gay towards each other all the time. Many people watch it, so that's what it is. Yeah.
Good job there, Cubby. And I'll say one last thing before we go. This is the way I dressed up when I first performed stand-up comedy at the Drum Cut Cafe in Studio City because I was so nervous. And I went to my car after my set, switching to my Rage Against the Machine shirt. And the guy goes, "I need the superhero to do 5 more minutes because I need to fill this time." I said, "I don't know who you're talking about." He goes, "You're pulling an Andy costume on me, aren't you?" And ever since then, I've clicked on stand-up. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ending the live stream so we can get into the stand-up. And give up for all the storytellers, Tidbits, the Nod, James back there, tip him well. And coming up next is stand-up, but we're going to turn off the live stream for that. You got to be here live for that. All righty, folks. See you soon.